Look, people are saying Kobbie Mainoo proved Ruben Amorim wrong, but what if Mainoo didn't even need to improve at all? What if the only thing that changed was the job he was given? In the next few minutes, I'll show you how Carrick changed one instruction and why Mainoo didn't just look better, he looked inevitable. If you've been on social media since the final whistle, you've seen the same narrative everywhere. The pundits are calling it a heroic transformation. They're saying Kobbie Mainoo finally found his legs, or that he's suddenly playing with a hunger we haven't seen all season. But let's be honest for a second. That is a myth. Think about it. We're talking about a 3-day gap between matches. You don't gain elite-level stamina in 72 hours. You don't develop world-class vision between a Thursday training session and a Saturday derby. The traits everyone is praising, the composure under pressure, the tight space control, the ice in his veins, and what have you, those weren't unlocked by Carrick. They've been there since Kobbie was probably 9 years old. Under the previous system, those same traits were making him look like a liability. We saw him subbed off at 60 minutes, looking gassed and being bypassed by mid-table midfields. People were actually starting to ask if he was a system player who only worked in the academy. But if the player didn't change, and the talent obviously didn't change, why did he suddenly look like the best midfielder on the planet? Why, for the first time in his career, did Kobbie Mainoo finally look comfortable? You see, in the first 20 minutes at Old Trafford, something bizarre happened. One of the most expensive and creative midfields in history suddenly forgot how to play a forward pass. Rodri, the man who usually dictates the tempo of world football, was playing sideways. Bernardo Silva was dropping deeper and deeper just to get a touch. And in the middle of it all was Kobbie Mainoo. He wasn't lunging into tackles, he wasn't sprinting at 30 kilometers per hour. In fact, if you looked closely, he was barely moving at all. But every time City tried to find the killer ball, Mainoo was just there. This is the part that doesn't make sense. Amorim benched him because he couldn't keep up with the chaos of the transition. The critics said he was a luxury player. They said he wouldn't survive a midfield battle against a Pep Guardiola team. But at Old Trafford, he didn't just survive, he dictated. He finished the game with a 92% pass completion rate and more interceptions than the entire City bench combined. So what changed? Did he get faster overnight? The answer is much simpler and much more brilliant. While the world was obsessed with intensity and pressing, Carrick realized that one of United's greatest talents was being wasted by his own effort. He realized that the more Mainoo tried to do, the less effective he became. In the Ruben Amorim 3-4-3, the two central midfielders aren't just anchors, they are marathon runners. Because the wingbacks are pushed so high to provide the width, the two in the middle are tasked with horizontal coverage. Now, this creates an overload. Think about what Kobbie was being asked to do simultaneously. Cover the space behind the overlapping wingback. 2, he had to track the late runner into the box. 3, be the primary outlet for the center backs. That means he wasn't playing as a midfielder anymore, but as a gap filler. And when that happens, it affects everything. His positioning became reactive, he was constantly sprinting to fires instead of starting his own. His decision speed slowed down because he was physically exhausted by the 50th minute, and his visibility, he became a ghost in games, not because he wasn't there, but because he was always 5 yards late to a tackle he should have never been making in the first place. But then came Pep and his men on Saturday, and Carrick realized that to get the best out of Mainoo, he didn't need him to do more. He needed him to do nothing else. He gave him one instruction, a golden rule that Carrick himself lived by for 15 years at Old Trafford. The secret isn't a complex 50-page tactical manual. It's one quiet decision Carrick made in his first training session. He didn't ask Kobbie for more effort, he asked him for more patience. Carrick's instruction was simple: stay in the cage. Simple as ABC, just stay in the cage. Under Amorim, Mainoo felt an obligation to be everywhere. If the ball went wide, he sprinted. If City countered, he chased. But Carrick replaced that obligation with freedom. He told Kobbie, your job isn't to find the ball. Your job is to make the ball find you. This changed everything about his starting position. Instead of reacting to City's movements, Kobbie started waiting for them. This explains why City had 70% of the ball but 0 shots on target. Now watch his defensive actions in the derby. He wasn't tackling more, he was intercepting better. Because he wasn't exhausted from chasing shadows, he had the mental clarity to see the pass before Rodri even made it. He made 8 defensive contributions, not because he was faster, but because he was already standing exactly where the ball was going to be. Next, look at his passing options. In the 3-4-3, Mainoo's passes were often survival passes, lateral balls played while gasping for air. In the Carrick 4-2-3-1, because he stayed home in the pivot, he always had a 360-degree view of the pitch. This is why he completed 22 of 24 passes in City's half. He wasn't playing safe, he was playing dominant. Carrick turned Mainoo from a frantic gap filler to a calculated anchor. But here's the most fascinating part. This didn't take weeks of training ground drills to click. It worked immediately. Why? Because Carrick wasn't just teaching Kobbie a new system, he was teaching him his own life's work. Carrick spent 15 years at Old Trafford being the invisible wall. He knew that in a Manchester derby, the game isn't won by running the most, it's won by occupying the most dangerous space. When Carrick told Mainoo to stay in the cage, he wasn't speaking as a manager, he was speaking as a peer. The reason it clicked in Game 1 is because it provided instant structural relief. Under Amorim, Mainoo was essentially a soloist trying to play every instrument. Under Carrick's 4-2-3-1, Casemiro became the safety net. Every time Mainoo stepped forward into the cage to intercept a pass, Casemiro was 5 yards behind him, cleaning up the mess and absorbing the physical contact. Casemiro didn't just play well, he played the dirty role so Mainoo could play the genius role. It's the classic Scholes and Keane dynamic. One provides the fire so the other can provide the ice. When Casemiro was eventually subbed off, Old Trafford didn't just clap, it exploded. That standing ovation wasn't just for a win, it was a roar of recognition for a world-class talent playing for the badge. If this breakdown changed the way you saw that derby, then you're exactly who this channel is for. We don't just watch the goals, we find the why. If you think Michael Carrick has officially saved Kobbie Mainoo's career, hit that subscribe button right now. We're tracking this tactical evolution every single week, and you don't want to miss what happens when this cage meets Arsenal's front three. But I want to hear from you. Is Mainoo now the first name on the team sheet, or does Amorim's system still have a place at United? Drop a Carrick or an Amorim in the comments. I'll be jumping in there to debate the best midfield pivot for the Arsenal game. The era of scary United is back. Don't miss a second of it.